was 2018. That's when Shannan and her two daughters, Bella and Celeste, were missing. Her friend had dropped her off at 1:45 in the morning after a work trip for the weekend, and she then rang her and couldn't get hold of her the next morning when she missed a doctor's appointment, and she then called the police. They waited until Chris got home from work, and the police went in and searched her house, where her phone was still there, so was her car, her wedding ring, and the kids' blankets were all still there. Her medication was also still in her bag. So the police went to next door neighbours and asked to see their security camera footage, and found out that Chris's car had been backed into the drive that morning, and Chris said that it was because he was loading his car for work gear, but the neighbour said that he's never done that before and that he was acting suspiciously. Chris then went on to do a press conference outside his house, saying that he wished that they'd come home and that if somebody had them, to bring them back, but you could just automatically tell that he was guilty, like right from the onset, because he kept referring to them in past tense rather than the present tense, like they were or they've gone. It's just weird. You could tell that he was guilty from looking at the footage. He then was interviewed, and the police then asked him to do a lie detector test, which he agreed to, and the lie detector questions lasted 5 hours. If you are guilty, or they think you're guilty, you score -4, but he scored -18, so they knew that something was off. But when they were asking him the questions in the lie detector, they were referring to they as well. So there are some things that the Netflix documentary left out, like the couple filed for bankruptcy in 2015, and Chris was then the family's main source of income. But to support the family financially and pay off some debts, Shannan took on the sales job and soon became a success. She received a company car package and would often go to work trips as well as holidays to Dominican Republic and Mexico. Chris did sometimes accompany her, but he often stayed at home with the daughters, and I think that he felt very, what's the word for it? When someone feels like degraded or something, because she was obviously earning, like she became near enough the main breadwinner. So that must have had some sort of impact on him. He was probably jealous as well. But yeah, so he failed that, and then in the lie detector room, when the police came back in, they let him speak to his father, and then with them two together, he admitted to his father that he had killed Shannan, but had blamed it on her, saying that she was the one that smothered her children, and that's why he killed her. It's not true, but that's what he said. So the public then went on to believe that Shannan killed her children, and there was abusive things said about her, about how she was, and blaming her for the fact that she killed her children, when in reality her children were her life. Her and Chris Chris were having issues, but no one really knew that apart from a couple of her close friends. Chris also lied to the police about not having a girlfriend or ever cheating on Shannan, but his girlfriend actually came forward and told the police that they were together, and he told her that he was leaving his wife, or that he had already left her. Shannan had found out that something was going wrong, and she knew deep down that he was having an affair, especially when she was away on the business trip the weekend before she was murdered, because on their bank statements there was an amount for a meal at a bar, and she looked up the menu and it would have cost only half that for what he said that he had. He also didn't get home until 10:30, when the game of football that he was watching had already finished by then. So she knew that they also hadn't been very intimate with each other in a while, and that was a big thing for her, and he was just distant. So on August the 15th is the day that he finally admits to killing his wife and strangling her, and then burying her in a shallow grave at an oil site. He refused to take responsibility for the death of his daughters, saying that Shannan smothered them, but he said that he had put their bodies in an oil canister. So on the 15th of August at 11:30 p.m, Chris was arrested on suspicion of 3 first-degree murder charges and 3 charges of tampering with a deceased human body. On August the 16th, Shannan's body was found in a shallow grave near the oil site. The bodies of the girls were found in 2 oil tanks. On the 21st of August, Shannan Watts' family appeared in court as Chris was arranged. Don't know what that means. On November the 6th, 2018, Chris Watts pleads guilty to all 9 counts against him. He pled guilty to 5 counts of first-degree murder, but he negated his initial story that his wife killed their daughters and assumed responsibility to killing all 3 himself. So it's quite... What happened was the morning of the 13th of August, when Shannan had got in from a work trip, she had gone up to bed and they had had sex, and then apparently after they'd fallen asleep and he woke up just after that. I'm not entirely sure that actually had sex, and after that he'd fallen asleep and then woke up and told Shannan that he was leaving her, and she'd said to Chris that she didn't want him seeing the kids, but sometimes if people feel hurt they will say that, not most. So sometimes people say things out of spite in the heat of the moment, but I doubt very highly that she'd have ever actually made him lose contact of his children. But apparently to him that was a good enough reason to strangle her and kill her. Bella walked into their bedroom, and she said to Chris, "What's wrong with Mummy?" And he said, "Oh, she's just asleep, she'll be okay." And then he put her in a sheet and put her in the back seat of the car on the floor, and then put the girls in the car. And they kept asking was wrong with Mummy. When's she gonna wake up? He then got to the oil site, buried Shannan, and then killed Cece first by wrapping her blanket around her head and smothering her. Bella then asked, "Where's Cece?" And he killed her next, and she kept saying, "Don't do this, Daddy." And he said that that's the thing that haunts him. There have been some letters that he's been writing to someone called, a little bit down there, so Sherilyn Cadell. He's been writing letters to her, and she's a journalist who's been to see him twice in prison, 3 times in prison, and he's been describing Shannan's death and said, "They asked me why she couldn't fight back, and it's because she couldn't fight back. All the weeks of me thinking about killing her, and now I was faced with it." This book is due to be released this week. I don't know if anyone wants to read it, but it's there if you want to. In these letters, Chris admitted that he unsuccessfully tried to smother their young daughters after an argument with Shannan, using a pillow from their bed. He wrote that the little girls both regained consciousness and got out of their bed bruised and traumatized after he had killed Shannan, who was 15 weeks pregnant. He said that he knew he would kill them on August the 12th, but did nothing to stop it and felt bad when he discovered they were still alive after his first attempt, because he's disgusting. He said that Shannan looked at him when she died. "I knew she was gone when she relieved herself." He was an evil man. He got what he deserved going to prison, but I think that he should have been killed. He should have had the death penalty, yeah. It shows videos of police cameras and all of the footage that they used in their evidence rooms, as well as the court cases, where his mother says that she forgives him and that she loves him. I would never forgive anybody for doing that. If anyone wants to watch it, it's called The American Murder, The Family Next Door, and that's on Netflix at the minute. It's just over an hour long, and it was released on the 30th of September. So yeah, it's definitely worth a watch if you want to watch it. It's quite upsetting, but I'm going to leave it there for today because I can't breathe, my nose is blocked, and I just sound horrendous. But yeah, I will see you all soon, and